What's up, your Relentless Warriors? Welcome back to Relentless Fit 365. And this is the post-workout of back and biceps. Today we had, 8 different exercises. You want to count the evolution. We actually had 11 different exercises, give or take, I guess. We had 3 different rounds, 15 reps per. So I made the tempo go really fast. Let me explain myself on tempo, because I often stress that to change things up, sometimes you don't necessarily have to change the exercise. It comes down to just changing the duration of what you're doing and how fast you're going. If you noticed the supersets, that's traditional, going one after another, back to back to back, totally blasting out the back, posterior delts or shoulders, and also the biceps. And even though I did a lot of it moderate or lighter weight, it didn't matter because you didn't give yourself a lot of time to rest. So at some point when you're getting halfway into the workout, you're actually getting a heart rate workout as well, because your heart rate is increasing in doing something like this. And it's the reason why we do that. Now, this was a trick that I used to use with some of my elderly clients that were in their 70s and 80s, where I would do very light strength training, but we would go at a really fast pace, kind of like this. And there's, it's easy on the joints. Strength training is really good for that age group, and they loved it, and they're still getting heart rate training. This works whether you're in your teens and 20s and 30s and 40s, or you're as old as 80. You could still do something like this. This is a good one for many reasons, but I really enjoyed it for that burnout. So the first one I want to talk about is the bench row. There are a couple of versions on the bench row. There are a couple of versions of rows. We did actually 2 today. So on the bench row, if you notice, when you go high like this, you take off pressure from your legs. That's the only reason I did that. Now, if you didn't have a bench, I recommend you going down to the lower plank of your arms and not your palm to the knee today, because on that palm to the knee, I call these lawnmower pulls. But on the lawnmower rows or pulls, you're using more of your lower back on that little twist. When you come low, you can use and engage more of your upper back, and that's what we were focused on today. So for instance, we're in that hammer grip, left leg on the bench, my left palm is also on the corner of the bench like this, keeping the elbow in, and we're rowing in. I just call it a hammer row. There's other ways too. We could bring the elbow out, but I find that a little awkward with this position. So this one I often do with the hammer grip. And again, elbow above the back. Make sure you're not arched over like this. I see a lot of people just keep jarring it away. They look stupid. Don't do that. You're smarter than that. Form is better than that. So just make sure, good squeeze right there, elbow, and then control the downward. Now, on the control of the downward, that's where you start engaging the biceps a little bit more. That pull is all back. Really focus on the back when you're doing that. And of course, then we switch it up. Supinated curl. This one is a common misconception. I see videos all the time. What's better, the curl or twist or the supinated curl? Well, they're both good in their own way. So today we focused on the supinated curl. And right after we do something like back, this is very important to stay in this position. And if you notice, slight bend at the elbow. So you're constantly engaging your bicep. You actually never lose that. One of the things on the curl and twist is it takes the engagement off the biceps, but also on that twist, you're working a little bit of your forearms. So both of them have benefits. Don't eliminate either one of them. I really don't care which one is better or worse. I think they're both good. We use supinated on this one. So keep it right here, all the way up, good control, all the way down. But again, on all the way down, you don't fully lock out your elbows. Keep them slightly bent. Right there, slightly bent. Again, if you have rocking issues, you can always step one leg back, just like that. You're not changing the workout. You're just changing the range of motion, and you're keeping yourself from poor form. All right, the next one is seated reverse flies. Now on this one, I always recommend going lighter. As a result of that, people don't feel like they're gonna work as hard until they get halfway into it, and then they find themselves dropping the weight. Just start light. Those are always the rules. Start light, you can always go up. But the moment you start heavy and you're dropping the set and you're trying to adjust the weight, you're kind of ruining the tempo of it. So start light and finish it light if you have to, and then just go up the next set. But again, notice my legs were out, I kept them together, and I basically leaned over at the waist, and all the pressure was here. The reason why we're leaning over is I kept the elbows slightly bent, and as we're coming up, you're engaging the rear delt. So posterior delt, and you're also engaging the back somewhat, but for the most part, it's posterior delt. We didn't get a lot of that this week, and that's why I incorporated these. So Here's a quick demo. Coming up here, and then control the downward. So this is actually heavier than what I did during the workout, but even still, you don't want to go too much. You want to be able to control that downward, that isometric, that eccentric motion. Isometric here, eccentric, or that downward motion. That's truly where you're engaging. You don't want to spend a lot of time down here, because this truly is like the resting position. You stop recruiting the muscle fibers, and it loses its momentum. So it's really that upward. How much time do you spend here? 15 reps. I promise you'll feel it. Okay, moving on. All right, the next one. I'm going through all of these today for obvious reasons. There isn't a lot of them, but I think they can all be done incorrectly, so I want to make sure I engage this. Ironmans, we often do, you call these tabletops. I switched it to Ironman years back, but whatever. The case is, these are known as also as tabletops, where you're coming up here, a curl and press. I see this a lot. You can also do curl, full range. We've done these. I switched it up a little bit. We did isometric in a supinated position on the left. We curled and twist on the right. So it looks something like this, curl and twist. And this is where that twist started to make sense. On that twist, you're also working your forearms and your wrist as well as you are your biceps. This isometric helps you engage your biceps the entire time. This one is what really works. Now, here's a common mistake. When you get tired, you tend to do this. You draw that elbow back, it takes pressure. Make sure if you're doing that, you drop the weight, because the moment you start doing this, you're taking away. You want to really bring that bicep out and engage. Keep it at the 90 degree as if it's on a tabletop, and then keep the hammer right here, curl and twist. Now, everyone always asks me when I should twist. The moment the bottom head of the dumbbell passes the leg, that's when you twist. You bring it up, good control, all the way down. I didn't do a twist though, did I? I did a hammer curl. Why am I explaining this? Okay, that's a good one too, but here, we're isometric here, we're doing the hammer curl. Yeah, I eliminated curl and twist for obvious reasons on this one. Hammer curl, because we're working supinated, hammer straight up. So stay with hammer, because that's what we were doing. Elbow still engages here, and you stay in that prone position. And then we switch sides. I'll get it right. I did it right in the video. All right. So we had dumbbell arm row. This was the double arm. So now on the first one, as you saw, we did the hammer grip. This next one was bent at the waist. Now, common mistake here. I see people bending over like this really low, and it's okay to get low, especially with a straight bar, but watch your spine. A lot of times people bend over like this. Terrible form. I like to go a little closer with my legs, bend at the waist, so it forces me to engage more of my back as opposed to dropping down, and now my lower back is at risk in a bad way. If you go wide like this, you can come down, and it is more lower back, but you're subject to going down like this as well, so just be careful. Wider is okay, but I keep it low. Let me just give you a quick check here. Always think of it this way. You're hip checking someone, boom, just like that. It's not this. You're not leaning. You're kicking your hips out, just like that. That forces the back to stay straight as opposed to you doing something like this. So right here, hips out, that's position. You can always keep your knuckles on your knees. That's a good gauge right here. And then just elbows out row. Keeping that back straight. Squeeze the top, control the downward. It's that simple. Rocker curls. I'm not going to demo that one. We've done a lot of those. If you guys do have questions, we'll go over that. Same with evolution. If you have any questions regarding those moves. The curl and twist is what I was thinking about when I saw the evolution. That's what threw me off on the Ironmans. But you certainly could. Suffice that to say, you could certainly do the curl and twist on the Ironmans as well. So those are the moves that we did today. If you have any questions, Lion Cub will let me know, and she's going through that as well. I'm going to take a seat over here at the table, and whatever comes in as far as form is concerned, don't feel like it has to be today's workout. If you had anything through this week, feel free to ask me. Now's a good time. So form corrections begin now.
First, Avia has two questions. I want to answer one right away in case she's about to do it. She wants to know if it's a good idea to do the iron body from yesterday right now.
After this, yeah, I wouldn't recommend going back to back with these two. But if you happen to do that, I don't think it's unsafe. I would give yourself, it's usually a half-day breakup. So if you didn't work out this morning, this was your only workout, I would recommend doing something like that later on next week sometime. You can fit it in if you did it in the morning. I'm not completely opposed to it, but I think you're better off to do some sort of core finisher. The iron body was a good one, but I would stay away from dumbbells after something like this. It's just two different tempos. This was more strength training. Iron body, we did this. The reason why I'm saying that is we did the strength training with body weight moves. You're just increasing the risk of injury in the way iron body was done this week. So before I continue rambling on of pointless things, I wouldn't recommend it. What else we got, the Lion Cub? We have everything in a rough position today. I did not expect my head mic to bust completely.
Darn mice.
Mice chewed through it. That's what we're blaming,
Yeah.
the ants. There's always something.
Julie was saying she did a 20-minute HIIT before this, and it was a perfect combo with this today. And the evolution was tough, but she chose a little heavier than she thought she could have done, but she did handle it.
Good job, Julie. Yeah. Pause that for a second. I want to address what Julie talked about. Yeah, breaking it up with HIIT, and she said 20-minute HIIT, correct? That's actually perfect. That's one of the reasons I negated or wanted you to leave out. I think Emelita was asking about the iron body. Avia Powerhouse asking about iron body. And as strong as you are, I mean, you can certainly get through it. Just understand, after you just burned your arms out, where there is some upper body weight stuff. I just feel like you'll get more out of it if you do it another day.
Avia has a forum question on the back rows. Do you hang the weights in front, or is it on the side more of a row? Does it change the muscles being worked?
A little bit, yeah. So we've done both. Now, when I was showing the ones today, I had the elbows coming out. That does change what muscles of the back. You're working a little bit more of your upper back. When you bring the dumbbells in closer, which is what we did with the single arm row, that makes it a little bit tighter. Your lower back gets a little bit more of the action. And it does change. When you do the upper, your posterior delts are engaging as well. We were targeting those, which is why I did the outside, pulling the elbows out. They're both good. I don't know. Again, it's one of those things, or which one's better? They're both different. So that's why we balance them out. And Via's got a fantastic back, so it'd be interesting for you to post what you usually do for back, because I'm sure a lot of people would be interested.
Julie asks, on the flies, should I think about squeezing my shoulder blades together? Sometimes I feel it in my neck, so I tried that and it helped.
Yes, always focus on the muscle at hand. Squeezing is always better. It's the contraction. It's basically, the old school terminology was flex and stretch. So the flex would be that contraction and the expansion part. So when you're doing the back rows, essentially the pulling part was the flex. And then when you're extending, that's the stretch. So you want the full range of motion. And I always say shoulder blades together, focus on the back. You always want to focus on the muscles being worked. That helps you squeeze a little bit more too. And again, it's not uncommon that people will start to have neck issues because weird parts of your body start to flex in order to handle the weight. And I will say, some people who might be focused or might be like going through something with their neck, lower the weight, get used to the form, and then you can start, increasing the weight, but certainly focus on your form first.
Mitra's biceps are amazed and love this.
They love you too, Mitra, because you push hard and keep your positivity. And good to see you. Fantastic week for you, Mitra. Thanks for your comments as always.
Anna's popping in the Q&A too. She's going to be doing this later because she's stuck at work.
Anna!
She said those holds hurt her carpal tunnel.
Yeah, the isometrics. Yeah, if that's bothering the carpal tunnel, just go lower. Isometrics are good for you, and you certainly want to work your wrists, but yeah, you don't want to overextend, especially with what you're dealing with. I'm glad to know that you're doing this one, even though you're facing hamstring issues. There you go. There's a case in point. Anna is not making excuses to sit on the couch and just eat. potato chips all night and watch Friends or something. I had to
That feels
pull
like
out.
an attack
What?
on me.
That's not an attack on you. I like Friends too. I find myself binge watching it on the weekends on Netflix. What else we got?
Teresa asks, on the flies, do your arms basically make a 90-degree angle with your body, or do you bring your arms a little forward or backward?
Okay, so we're talking the reverse flies, I'm assuming. We did lighter weight, so there are a couple of ways you could do it. You could do a bent arm 90-degree fly, which is not something that we focused on today. We were basically focusing on wide, extended, slight bend of your arms. So it's slightly, I don't want to say it's forward or back. Think of it as an iron cross, except in the bent position. So I hope that makes sense. Not forward or back. You want to be basically even, almost like you're making a T. Somebody find out who's at the door until.
Let me ask a question you can answer while I do.
Yes.
Nina asks, on the reverse curls, is there a modifier for that? Those tend to bother her wrists.
Okay, so the reverse curls, you could do hammer curls. I would just say if you're dealing with reverse curl issues, just go lighter. I know that seems kind of counterproductive when it comes down to like evolution, because then you have 3 other moves. Stand by for a second. There's going to be some slight noise. You're going to be dealing with some other moves that you're going to need lighter weight. Or heavier weight rather, but you're better off to go lighter with the reverse curls, and the others would be easier. So I don't think you should eliminate those. That's why I started with them. Instead of a modifier, just go lighter. It's probably not the answer you want, but those reverse curls are important, and it's why I started with them.
Anna asks,
good job, Lion Cub. She's handling the door. So much has gone on this week. Today, in general, has been, we should have done chaos
today's
training.
been great.
Yeah, we should have done chaos training today. That would have worked. Like chaos kickboxing. That would have been more appropriate. I enjoyed today's workout, but based on what's been going on this week, why not? All right. Sorry, Lion Cub. I had to do a little.
What's healthier, chips or Oreos?
Oh, definitely Oreo chips. You ever have those? Neither have I. I don't know. That's a good. Who asked that? Anna? She's getting ready for her binge watching, so she's it's Friday. You probably earned the right to have a little bit of Oreos, so enjoy. That's all we got. All right, guys. I appreciate all the comments and questions. We're going to continue on with this Q&A and the form as we're slowly improving on this. I'm going to share it with you guys first, but in the next week or so, we are going to start putting the form videos public on YouTube. The reason why I'm doing that is I feel like it does balance well with the community. It balances well with people that follow us on the Facebook community. And I do like the discussions. It gives people an opportunity to still talk, and it brings your guys' energy onto the platform that we grew from. So not next week, but probably the following week, we are going to start putting all the Q&As live on YouTube, so you can share it with all your friends. It gives them an idea. We're not going to be sharing. I'm going to be basically doing what I'm doing now. I'm going to I'll go over the moves that I think are confusing. Any of you who will have questions, we'll always handle those. It will still be on the website, so it'll be easily embedded where you can find it, but it'll also be public on YouTube as well. Not the workouts, just the Q&A. So the workouts are still for the platform, no matter how many times we have people asking us to post free workouts. Sorry. If they want to give us free rent for the year, maybe I'd consider it, but no. The answer is still no. Guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate all your comments, your positivity, and keep bringing it. Keep fighting. Have a good weekend. Stay focused. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. It's a beautiful time tomorrow. We're celebrating our 30,000 subscribers, and we have some fun things we're going to do. It's many of your favorite moves, and we're going to blast right through it on a 45-15 tempo. Have a good time and enjoy the rest of our weekend. Thanks for watching. Always remember, eat healthy, train hard, most especially have fun. Thank you to Lion Cub in the back scenes. Thank you, Lion Cub.
Thank you, Lion Cub.
I'm Relentless Jake. You remember to stay focused, stay dedicated, and I'll see your beautiful faces tomorrow And I'm out.